nobody else can. It's good to see everybody this evening, and it's great to be with you. See a lot of new faces, and we really appreciate you coming out and supporting this meeting, and I hope I can bring you some thoughts and be helpful for you. I'm just an old country boy from Georgia. Just teach simple lessons and just give you my thoughts, basically, and I hope it'll be good for you in some way. And if you haven't met my lovely wife, Rhonda, and my two kids, Madeline and Natalie, are here with me, make sure you tell them how great I am when you go over there and talk to them. So, but however, they're great girls, and we really appreciate the ones we have. We're trying to raise them right, and we're hoping that they'll continue in God's Word and do what they should. So, this evening, and y'all have to excuse me, now we don't have evening services at home. We only have morning. So if I say morning, just kind of shake your head at me, because I'll probably say it a few times this evening. This evening, I want to go through a couple of slides here, and I want to talk about the cultural changes that we see today. And this is based on the 50s. Technology in the 50s was predominantly radio, little or no TV. Today we have satellite TV, cable TV, internet, and the World Wide Web. We have all of those things. And I don't know if y'all remember, I'm sure there's a lot of people in here that as old as I am that remember people coming home from church and turning on their radio and listening to all the old westerns and different things. My grandmother, I remember going to her house, and they didn't have a TV. You know, I'm not that old that the TVs were around when I was a kid, but they didn't have TVs. They called them hell boxes, so we didn't ever have those at their house. But I remember us watching or listening to those things and being together when we did it. They liked the macabre. It was some kind of a detective show that was aired in Georgia. But I remember those things and how different it was. You know, you had black and white TVs at home, but however, my grandparents didn't really like that. I really enjoyed watching those old I Love Lucy and the Little Rascals and all of those things. And now we see how the TV's changed so much today. It's really kind of hard to watch in a sense. In fact, my grandfather's probably right. If he saw it today, he probably would have one in his house. But we think about those things, and it has really, really changed. Children, we see that children back in the 50s, that chance of growing up with both parents was 80%. Their divorce rate was 1 in 5. Today, the chance of growing up with both your parents is 50%. It's 50% chance of divorce today. Single-parent families increased 350%. That is a lot. That's a big change, isn't it, from that short a period of time. Parents that work, the work week in the 50s was 40 hours a week. Less than 20% of children needed daycare at that time. Now the work weeks are 45, 50 hours, I understand that. And more than 60% of the children need daycare because of parental demands, work demands. We think about teachers in school. They were valued. Disciplinary problems, drum, noise, dress code, littering, running in the halls, and yeah, I did quite a few of those. You know, but that was really the way it was. I grew up in the 80s and graduated in 85, but we never had any problems like you see today. Assaults on teachers up 700%. Disciplinary problems, drugs, alcohol, pregnancy, suicide, robbery, all of those things. Think how bad it has gotten. You know, in Georgia at home, they have to carry clear book bags. They have sheriffs and policemen that stay at the school all the time. We think about how different that was. You know, when I was a kid, you got in trouble, they bent you over the desk and paddled you. And then when you got home, you got beat with a belt. Today, they can't do anything like that. It's changed a lot. It's really changed a lot. I want to tell you a story about me, and well, I'll go ahead and tell it while we're at it. When I was in the 12th grade, I was playing slaps with one of the kids. We were slapping hands, you know. And my art teacher sent me to the office. I missed too many days at school, so I had to take paddling 5 licks when I was in school, you know, in the 12th grade. It was kind of embarrassing. And it wasn't a week later, she got me again. He hit me in the back. I turned around, slapped him back in the office. Can't miss school. You know, if they would have expelled me, I would have failed. So I said, hey, I'll bend over the desk again, have at it. You know, but you know, the funny thing about it was, I didn't go home and tell my parents. You know why? Because if I'd have told them even at the 12th grade, I would have gotten torn up again. It's just the way things have changed. It's so much different today when we think about what we see in the world. How about violent crime in juveniles? 16.1 incidents per 100,000. It's up 500% since the 1950s. Up 22% from 1990. 75.8 incidents per 100,000. That's huge, isn't it? Big change. Extended family. The families all live close together, have real frequent contact. Now we live farther apart and have less time together. I spent a lot of time as a child with my parents, my grandparents. We all lived close together, and I really enjoyed that time. Neighbors, usually in the 1950s, you knew your neighbors really well.